Nancy Senior. I'm from the University of Saskatchewan. This is the book. It's a result of a lot of work by a lot of people over quite a few years. It's called The Codex Canadensis and the Writings of Louis Nicolas. It's the first ever publication of two manuscripts from the late 17th century in France. First one is what's called the Codex Canadensis, which is a book of drawings, like so. Codex Canadensis, of course, the codex just means a book with pages. The title was not given by the author. I don't think we know what title he would have given to it. So it's about 80 pages of drawings of native people of Canada, plants, animals, birds, and fish, of mostly eastern Canada, but also some from the eastern part of the United States. The other book is, in French, the title is the Histoire naturelle des Indes occidentales. That's literally the natural history of the West Indies, but we called it Natural History of the New World, because if you said the West Indies, people would think about a completely different place. For years, no one knew that these, well, from a long time, many years, no one knew that there was any connection between these two books. The Codex is in the Gilchrist Museum at Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Histoire naturelle is in the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris. But over the years, Professor François-Marc Gagnon and graduate students who've been working under him learned that these were by the same author, and they found out who the author was. It was Louis Nicolas, who was a Jesuit missionary in New France in the latter part of the 17th century. They describe the flora and fauna of this area, this large area, eastern to mid-Canada and part of the United States. And especially because Nicolas was described in detail what native people did with these various plants and animals and so on. He describes how they use, which plants they use for food, and how they prepare them for food, which ones they use as medicine, which ones have religious uses. Nicolas did not get permission from his superiors to publish this work. He would have, as a Jesuit, it would have had to be approved by his superiors. We don't know for sure why they didn't approve it. François-Marc Gagnon thinks it's because of the digressions and because the scientific approach was rather old-fashioned at the time. Nicolas works by comparison, by describing things and comparing them with the birds of the New World with the birds of Europe. He does give quite detailed descriptions sometimes, but some people at the time were given even more detailed, more systematic descriptions than Nicolas was giving. Also his digressions. He states his opinions about things. He goes off on rants. They're wonderful. I love them. The digressions are some of the most interesting things to us today. The manuscript in Paris has whole sections marked through with a red pencil or some with a blue pencil. It's probably censors within the Jesuit order who were thinking, if this is going to be published, this part should be cut, this should be cut, that should be cut. But we've got them all in there. We've got all the parts that they wanted to cut out. The drawings themselves are wonderful. We don't know for sure whether Nicolas did all of them himself or whether he got an artist to do some of them. If it was the latter, he certainly gave the instructions and he definitely wrote the captions. But there are, for example, pictures of canoes of different kinds of people, Eskimo Nation, Porcupine Nation, Algonquins, Amikuek, the canoes by these different people. There are pictures of Americans going to war on the water, that is to say, Native Americans. There are pictures that have to do with their religion, sacrifice that this man is making to the moon. Picture of a child in the cradle. So the pictures of how native people did things. The pictures of animals are going to be, and plants and birds and so on, will be very interesting to people who care for birds and fish and plants and so on. I think it will just tell more about how people lived, about how Native people lived. So this was at the time of contact, but they were nevertheless living in a traditional way. And all sorts of arts of hunting, fishing, cultivation, the things that people made. I think probably it's going to be, a lot of people are going to be interested in knowing how Native people lived. And Nicolas, as I said, spent as much time as he possibly could away from the Jesuits' house in Quebec and traveling around with people. I am very happy to have been part of this. I think it's a wonderful project and I think it's a wonderful book, and I am very happy to have been part of it.